Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So let's continue our Java Level 4 class. Last week, we talked about a file. And a file, we learned several methods. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So one is list of files. I remember that I asked you in the class. So what are the difference between these two? Do you still remember? Can you just send me a private chat? See if you still remember. What is the difference between these two? Yeah, very good, Aaron. Very good. Yeah, this will give you the file names. List of files actually will give you an array of files. List will give you an array of file names. Very good. Okay. So what method do you use to create a file? Does anyone remember? You can chat it to me. If I do not get an answer, then I will call the students. All right, so let me try to call the student to get an answer. Alex, what method?
Is it the file.create new file?
Great. Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Create a new file. It will create a new file for us. Okay, so what method do you use to create a folder? Can you send me a private chat if you know that? If you want to speak up, great. If I do not get any feedback, then I will call a student. Very good. Thank you, Alex. You are very good on it. Yeah, Aaron, you are also doing good. And Ryan, you did it great. Make MK is actually it's a short form for make. Okay, make MKDIR. It will create a folder. If you wanted to create a multiple folders, you use MKDIRS. Very good work. Thank you very much. All right. So the homework. I only get 2 students to do the homework. And Ryan, you did very well. I want you to share your homework and walk through it.
So first, I created a new instance for the level 4 homework 2 class. And then after that, I asked for the input for putting in a path name to run the code with. Then after that, I got the input using .next line. After that, I created a new file instance using the path name. Then after that, I created a final array with nothing inside it. Then I took file array and then used the function file finder to run this code to return the final array. So in the function, I got the children, and if there were children inside it, then I would, for each children, I would get the new file and then run it again. But if there's no children, that means that the file is a file and not a directory. So then I extend the list by 1, and then pushed the last item into the last item of the list so that file name's absolute path is converted to string. And then I converted final array back using add array, and then I return final array. And then I print out the array length, and then the items in the array.
Ryan, I really like your code very much. It's very clear, and your code also get into depth. So that means you not only create a class, you create a method, and in the method you also use the array, and you also increase the size of an array. So that's actually a lot involved. Speaking of your coding skills, if you like, I really want you to come to join the robotic club, because this place you will have more opportunity to practice your coding. You can use your skills there. Your coding at this level, I think it's already good enough for Java coding in robotics. You're really doing very good. Thank you so much. I'm not trying to do advertisement. I really wanted to say that your skill is already at the level so you can order independently. Very good work. And I wanted Miss He to talk to your mom. Not asking you to join the club. That's not trying to do push. Really wanted to let your mom know that you are doing a great job coding, because this code shows me your great Java coding skill. Really good. So Miss K, if you are there, I really want you to, let Ryan's mama know this information. He's doing very good on it. All right, so let's move on. So we continue on file, okay? We learned how to create a file in last class that actually creates an input file. So we also learned how to read file in our basic Java classes. So if you are in the level 2 class, so when we use a scanner, and then the scanner can read and use the input from console, it can also use to read a file. So we know that both buffer read and the scan can be used to read a file. So now let's learn the new file read and the write skills. So we're not using buffer read, we're not using scan. So how can we create a file and write a file? So that's a new skill we wanted to learn. File writer is a convenience class for writing character files. Okay, character, keep in your mind. So the constructor of this class assumes that the default character encoding and the default byte buffer size are acceptable. So let's take a look at it. It's constructed. So we're loading a new class today. It's not a file, it is a file writer. Okay, so let's get into this website. Okay, so let's spend like 2 minutes to read this file writer class. Pay attention to its constructors. Okay, the constructor we see is also a method, a special method, and you see it is overloaded. The constructor help us to instantiate an instance of a class. So you Take a look at these constructors and some methods here. Okay. Just do a very quick scheming, and you do not have to memorize the things. Just use a quick scheme to see what you are interested in, then get to read it, and then we will come back and it goes to the specifics. All right. So come back. So you see the file write constructor. It can accept a file object. It can also accept a file name. Right? We know in the file class, if we give the file name, we see it's in a virtual. It's a virtual file. It could be physical file as well. So it's in a virtual file. And you use create new file to create a file. Here you are trying to write something to the file, right? You're trying to write something to the file. You see, then you have those methods. You see, you have the write method, write method, write method. So what does it mean? You have so many write methods, right? You can click on one of those, and you see they are overloaded as well. So this is inherited from the parent output stream write, right? You see here, file write is a child of the output stream write. Output stream write is the child of write. Okay. And now we get to the file write. So let's move on. So this is in a function example. So let me copy this code to you. And then you can paste it in paste in your class. So let me just put it here, stem. Let me use this one again. Let me do it here. And then I will walk you through this method. So first, let me just resolve the import problem. I will import, I will write. Okay, so you see what I got. You use write to file. That's the method that you created. It does not return anything. So what you accept it. This is the string, that's the content you want to write to the file. Here will be the file, okay? The absolute path to the file. So this method has two parameters. So then you see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to create an instance of a file write. The file write can accept a string file path. Come here, back, come here. They can accept a string as a file path, right? Okay, so I create a file write, and then you see I use the file write to write the string, the characters to this file. When you deal with file, always remember to close the file after you finishing with it. If you do not close it, it will easily be corrupted because it stores in the memory. You do not close it. If something happens and it get into the memory and it then corrupted your memory, then the file itself get corrupted. Okay. So after I've closed it, I will see it's successful. If there's any problem, let's say the file does not exist, or the file exists but you cannot write to it, then you goes to this catch block. You just print out the information. So I want you to copy that code. Now let's just use this code. Okay. Let's just use this code. So let me just do this one. I go to my main method now. I will use okay. I will try to use this one. Mathstem dot write to file. Okay. So write to file ask for two things. The second one is the file path. So Aaron, if you do not mind, I'm still using this one. Okay, that's the file path. Okay, and then the content. I will just put the content as I like Java coding. Okay, that's what I'm going to write to this file. So let me just comment out of this then. So that's what I needed to do. So I create an instance of my class called stem, and I use mathstem, then I call the method I just used. So let me run it. You see, write to file is successful. So now let me go to this location, C drive temp Aaron. Aaron, I'm sorry, I used the name. If you do not like it, I will change it. Just wanted to, let the class feel, that we are using something makes sense. So Aaron.text. You see, today is the July 29th and 8:33. So let me open the file. You see, that's a string I just wrote to it. I like it, Java coding. All right. So let me just change this to a different file then. Don't write Aaron, I'm not using your name anymore. Let me use my own last name. Let me try this. Okay, so let me run it again. Save my code and run it again. You see this is successful. So let me go to this one, open the yen.txt. Now you see I have this content written to the file. All right, you see last week and the week before last week, we load the files and we know how to get the files in the folder, how to create a folder, how to list the files. Today, we not only learn how to create a file, and we also learned how to write the content to the file. Okay. Last 2 weeks with the file, we could not do that. So today you see the file writer not only creates a file, it can also write the content to the file if you use a file write. All right. All right, so let me stop sharing my code and my screen. So let me get you guys to share your work to me. Okay, who wants to volunteer? If I do not get a volunteer, then I will ask a student. Serena. Have you finished it? Do you want to share your screen to me? Okay. ED. Have you finished? Do you want to share your screen to me? All right, so let me give you 1 more minute. All righty, so you have like a 20 seconds to go. All right, ED, you finished? Do you mind to share? Okay, let me ask Erin. Erin, you finished?
Sorry. I just got home, so I had to switch back to my house Wi-Fi, so I didn't really hear what was happening.
Okay. All right, so how about you, Alex? Alex, does this work? Okay. Yeah, can you open the file and show me if you get the content in the file? I know that in the Alex text, can you open that one and share that one to me? Yeah, your code is very good. Very good. Thank you, Alex. You're doing good. Thank you so much. All right, so let me move on. So we learned the file write and we use the method write. Okay. All right. So just give you a small challenge. You see in my method here, right? And I use the file write and I accept a string. So can you guys use a different construct of file write and use it to append the characters to the end of the file? Okay. Also, the construct accepts a file object, not a path. Okay, so pretty much I ask you, no, change your code. Do not use this construct. Okay, you use this construct. So it's a very small challenge. So can you guys go ahead and do it? So come here to modify this code a little bit, but okay, do not use write because I want you to append. Okay, so check using these methods. Using this method. So whatever content in your file will be preserved. Then you just append the new content to the end of the file. All right, do that. And the ED, no matter what, I want to see your code this time. So okay, do it quickly. So let me give you the requirements here. I give you 5 minutes to do this work, okay? 5 minutes. So I will check you at 8:46. If you finish sooner, better. All right, so let me stop sharing. So ED, can you share your code to me? Have you finished? How many more minutes do you need, ED? All right, so let me get it right. Can you share yours to me, right? Very good. Thanks. Very good work there. Yeah, actually, it's very straightforward. All right, so let me move on. Okay, we learned the file write. And the file write has a sibling. It's called a file read. It is a convenience class for reading characters files. The constructors of this class assumes that the default character encoding, the default byte buffering size are appropriate. So you may not get into this, but if you do applications for, let's say, for other countries, or you deal with other languages, let's say Chinese, so then you may deal with the encoding, right? China use a different encoding for its characters, so that's why. But if you use a file read and a file write, that means you assume the default one is good, okay? So can you guys just go ahead and run the file read this website, spend like 2 minutes on it? All right, so let me go to the file reader. It's a sibling of a file writer, right? So it also accepts a file, it also accepts a string. And you say you have the read method. Okay, you have a lot of read method inherited from different parents. And then you come back here, you see this file reader, and its parent is input stream reader, and then IO reader. Okay, so this should be very quick. So you just take a quick look at this, then let's just do another access here. So let me give you this code. And now you're reading the file, right? So let me give you this code. And I will walk you through this code. Okay, so let me put this method in my class. Read it from file. It accepts a string. The string is the absolute path of the file. So first you see I created the character area, okay, char area, and its size is 100. Okay, then I create a file read instance. And I pass in the path to the file. And then I use read method. When you use the read method, you pass in the area, okay? Because it will read a character area. So it will be stored in this area. We just created it. And then, okay, you just print this out, see what it is. Just print it out. Also remember to close your file. Okay, after you finish it, okay, this is try. If there's any issue, it will jump into this catch block. All right, so let me just try to use this method. Okay, so let me just use this method. Read from file. Okay, I will just use my file. This one. Okay, so I will read this file, see what I got. So let me save my code. Now let me run it. The file content is, I like it, Java coding. That is the content. So you see, you can use buffered read to read a file. You use a scanner to read a file. Here, you use a file read to read a file. Remember, it reads into a character area, or we say char area. So it reads into an area. If you do not understand it, you just click any one of this read method. Okay. Let's say here, read. If you do not use an area, then it will just read a single character. It will only read a single character. All right. So let's move on to an exercise. Read in the test.txt file. Replace the file write in the text file with the file read. Then save the new content back to the file. What does it mean? So I need to give you this file. Okay. Let me give you this file. If we can finish this one, that's great. So let me give you. Okay, I have a text file like this. Okay, it has some about like a okay, about this long. Okay. So I want you to read this file out. And you see here in this file, you have a file writers, right? File writers. So what I want you to do is that read in the test.txt file, replace the file write in the text file with the file read. Then save the new content back to the file. I give you 10 minutes to do it. Let me also give you the file here to this shared Google Drive, okay? So let me drag and drop the file there, and then you go to get it. If you do not remember this URL, the shared Google Drive, let me give it to you again. Okay, so what do I need you to do is that read in the test text file, and then you need to replace the file right. So think about how to replace it. And then save this new content back to the file. Okay, go ahead using 10 minutes to do it. Anyone finished? So this need to use the skills to read a file and replace the substring and then write a file. Okay. Anyone finished? Aaron, you finished?
No.
Alex, you finished?
Oh,
Serena, you finished? So ED, have you finished? Okay, give me like 2 more minutes. If you know, if you are not shy, you just treat this as a class. Even if you don't finish, if you can share your screen to me, then we can work together and finish that. If you really do not want, then I will work with you together using my screen. Okay. So you have 1 more minute to work on it. All right. So Aaron, you finished?
No.
Okay. So Alex, do you want to share? If you do not finish, do you want to share or you wanted to work privately?
work privately.
All right. Okay, so let me share mine. So let's work together. Then I hope this can help you. All right, so I just write a new method. So what does this method do? So I use current method called read replace. So it will accept a string, okay, as the absolute path of the file. So I just borrow the code I have here. These are the code I borrowed. The first 3 lines, I will read that file. So this the new line I added it because when you read a file, okay, you read an area, and so it is a char area. I need to convert it to a string, and then in the string I need to replace all file write to file reader. After that, okay, I will write the file back, write the content back. So I just call this method I created in the beginning of the class, right? So I give it the new content, okay? Give it the new content, and okay, the file path. I cannot close my file here anymore because here it will close it, right? Here it will close it. Or I can just make it better. So you see, I already, okay, I will not do that. So just do this. Now I just need to come back to change this to test.txt. So I'm going to read my file, read it, replace. Okay, I will call that method, read this file, and replace, and then write it back. Let's see if that works. All right, let me go to this file and see what I got. C temp. So let me, okay. So this is today, 7/29. That's July 29th, 9:08. So let me open this file. Uh-oh. What I got. What I got. You see the file is corrupted, right? Okay, so must be something wrong here. So what is wrong? What is wrong? I think, okay, the wrong place is that I open this file, then I use a new file here, and this file is in the memory. And I did not close it, then it happened this again. So that's why. So if I close my file here, if I close my file, then I write to the file, it will work. All right. So let me get my test file there again. So let me go back to my location. That's this file. If I open it, you see I have a file right? I have a file right here. So let me copy this file to that location. C drive temp. Right? I replace the file. Now you see if I open this file, I have file writers here. File write. Let me close it. Now let me run my code. Right, let me run my code. You see write to file is successful. Now let me open it. Let me see what I wrote to it. Let me print this out. Oh, I know what. So this one is too small. So let me use 1024. Okay, make it big. Make it big. All right, so let me copy that file again. Copy to C drive and paste it. Okay, so it's file right. So now let me run it. Why it is still that? Okay, let me do this one. Copy this to the C drive. Okay, I have everything here. Now let me run it. What's the problem? Okay, let me just check why this give me a wrong answer. All right. I have this file here. Let me see. The retro string. Okay, so let me just do some research here. Why this converted to string? It is wrong. It's an array to string. Okay, okay, this is a char array. All right, so let me just find that out, and I will get back to you guys. So we need to create it. We need to convert the char array to a string. Then we can do replace. Then we can do the replace. Okay. So that's what we need to do. I think let me just do a quick research here. Convert char array to string. Okay. All right. So should I do it this way? So this should be in new string area. I did it wrong here. This way now it should give me the right answer. All right, so let me go there. 3. Right, so you have all the file rights here. Now let me run it. Okay, you see here now all the file rights are replaced using file read. Okay, so let me open this file again. So you read a file, you replace the content with some new substrings, and then you write it back to the same file. All right, so let me give you this code. So let me give you this code so you can now keep it. All right, so let me stop sharing. I do not have homework this week, and we will come back to continue loading files next week. Next week we will learn navigation, file navigation. How do you navigate through your folder structure? All right, if you do not have question, let me return this class back to Miss